Have you ever wondered why some older women can magnetize younger men, while others become completely invisible to them? It's not about appearance, money, or status. It's not about trying to look younger or competing with women his age. The answer isn't pretending to be someone you're not, or desperation disguised as confidence. It lies in something deeper, more unsettling. Something that completely deconstructs everything we were taught about age, feminine power, and what truly attracts a younger man to a mature woman. Society tells us that women have an expiration date, that after 40, we should gracefully step aside, become invisible, accept our role as observers rather than participants in the dance of desire and connection. But what if everything we've been told is a lie? What if the most magnetic force in the universe isn't youth, but authentic feminine power refined by experience? What if the woman who truly captivates a younger man isn't the one trying to recapture her 20s, but the one who has fully embraced her depth, her complexity, her hard-earned wisdom? This isn't a story about age gap relationships. This is a story about power. The kind of power that makes people uncomfortable because it challenges everything they believe about how women should behave, what they should want, and when they should stop wanting it. Because when a mature woman gets involved with a younger man, she isn't just navigating an age difference. She's entering a complex psychological territory where traditional roles are completely reversed. And that power reversal, that dance between experience and youth, doesn't come with an instruction manual. It comes with silent traps that can destroy any possibility of real connection. Let me be clear, she's not predatory, manipulative, or desperate. She's a woman who has awakened to her own power. She's not needy, controlling, or invasive. She simply got tired of men her age who lost their passion for life, who settled into emotional mediocrity, who confused comfort with complacency. She's tired of relationships where she had to dim her light so someone else could feel brighter. Tired of connections where her experience was seen as a threat rather than a gift. Tired of being told to act her age when acting her age meant accepting less than she deserved. There's something profoundly threatening about a mature woman who understands male psychology deeply, who knows she represents something dangerous to the status quo. Living proof that feminine power doesn't diminish with age. It transforms, deepens, becomes more refined and more selective. And that awakens two extremes in the world: admiration from those who recognize her authenticity, and terror from those still trapped in outdated social scripts. But here's where most women stumble. Here's where they take their greatest strength and turn it into their greatest weakness. The fatal mistake that 99% of mature women make when dating younger men is this: they try to mother him. Maybe you don't see it right now. Maybe you think it's care, protection, genuine love. Maybe you tell yourself you're just being helpful, sharing your wisdom, guiding him away from mistakes you've already made. But deep down, way deep down, there's a question pulsing inside you. Could it be that by trying to take care of him, you're sabotaging exactly what attracted him to you in the first place. Carl Jung said that there is no birth of consciousness without pain. And many of these mature women represent exactly that. Feminine consciousness that awakened through pain, through experience, through the brutal self-knowledge that comes from refusing to lie to yourself anymore. They are a reflection of the collective shadow. They are what many women dream of becoming, but few have the courage to embody. When it comes to claiming their right to desire, regardless of age, Jung understood that the shadow isn't just our dark side. It's also our unlived potential, our repressed power, our authentic self that we've been taught to hide. And for many women, their shadow contains not just their anger and their darkness, but their sexuality, their ambition, their refusal to shrink, their right to want and be wanted. These women don't beg for attention or validation. They emanate presence. They don't try to compete with younger women. They occupy a completely different space, the space of sensual wisdom. They understand something that takes decades to learn, that true magnetism isn't about perfection. It's about integration. It's about owning all parts of yourself, the light and the shadow, the wise and the wild, the nurturer and the seductress. They're less interested in superficial games and more in connections that nourish both soul and body. They've learned to discern between attraction and attachment, between desire and desperation, between love and the need to be needed. Jung also spoke about the anima and animus, the feminine aspect in men and the masculine aspect in women. A mature woman who has integrated both her feminine and masculine energies, this is why younger men are drawn to her. It's not just her experience, it's her completeness. It's the way she moves through the world without apology, without the constant need for validation that often comes with youth. And that makes people uncomfortable. Because while the world demands that mature women become sexually invisible, these women discovered the power of being seen, desired, chosen. They operate on a different level, a level where experience isn't a burden. It's a gift. Where maturity isn't limitation, it's freedom. Where knowing yourself deeply becomes the ultimate aphrodisiac. She's learned the difference between being needed and being wanted, between being useful and being irresistible, between being helpful and being magnetic. And maybe that's why she sparks so much judgment, so much criticism, so many attempts to label her choice to date younger men as inappropriate, desperate, or pathetic. But what many still don't understand is that behind this seemingly inappropriate connection is a truth that transcends age. Souls recognize souls. Energy recognizes energy. Authenticity recognizes authenticity. The fatal mistake happens when she meets a younger man and automatically activates her maternal mode. She starts giving unsolicited advice, protecting him from his own choices, treating him like he's a project to be improved, rather than a man to be respected. She forgets that what attracted him wasn't her ability to guide him, but her ability to inspire him. Not her wisdom lectures, but her lived example of what it means to be a fully realized woman. Think about it. When you're constantly giving advice, you're positioning yourself as the teacher and him as the student. When you're always protecting him from consequences, you're positioning yourself as the parent and him as the child. But that's not what he fell for. He fell for the woman who knew herself so deeply that she didn't need to control anyone else. The woman who was so secure in her own choices that she trusted others to make theirs. The maternal trap is seductive because it feels like love. It feels like care. It feels like you're adding value to his life. But what you're actually doing is diminishing the very equality that made the connection possible in the first place. When you mother him, you're not loving him as a man. You're managing.
Carl Jung also said that everything we don't face within ourselves, we end up projecting onto others. And maybe that's why so many mature women confuse care with control, experience with superiority, when in reality, what attracts a younger man is exactly the opposite. She's been the mother in relationships where she should have been the partner. She's been the fixer, the helper, the one who sacrificed her needs to manage everyone else's emotions. She's been the strong one, the responsible one, the one who held everything together, while slowly losing pieces of herself. While most people expect her to assume the role of substitute mother, this woman turned her gaze inward, and there, in the vastness of her own unconscious, she faced the ghosts she avoided for years, the fear of not being enough, the impulse to control, to feel secure, the need to prove herself through excessive caretaking. Her decision to date younger men didn't come from an open wound, but from a scar that finally healed. She didn't stop believing in love, she simply stopped accepting dynamics, where her experience became a burden instead of a gift. This woman knows chaos. She's already been through the storms, the divorces, the disappointments, the relationships that taught her more about herself than she ever wanted to know. She's already done the work of untangling her worth from her usefulness. She's learned that love isn't about fixing someone or being fixed. It's not about filling voids or being someone's missing piece. It's about two whole individuals choosing to share their completeness. But old patterns die hard. The urge to slip into caretaker mode is strong, especially when you're with someone who has less life experience. The temptation to share every lesson you've learned, to protect him from every mistake you've made, to guide him toward the right choices. But here's what she's learning. Her value isn't in what she can give, or fix, or improve. Her value is in who she is, in her presence, her authenticity, her refusal to be anything other than herself. What you see now isn't coldness, arrogance, or indifference. It's emotional maturity. And maturity is scary because it demands presence, depth, and truth when it comes to intergenerational connection. She doesn't want just any company or any attention. She wants reciprocity. She's no longer attracted to promises or superficial charm, but to real presence, real energy, genuine passion for life. She's learned to recognize the difference between someone who's attracted to her experience and someone who's attracted to her essence. Between someone who wants... So maybe that's why she seems unreachable to many. Because she doesn't want to be anyone's mother. She wants to be seen as a woman, desired for her mature, feminine essence, respected for her choices, valued for her depth. And that takes more than charm or sweet words. It takes courage to dive into depths where few dare to go. It takes emotional maturity to appreciate complexity. It takes security to be with someone who doesn't need you, but chooses you. When a mature woman becomes whole, she awakens two extremes in the world: admiration from those who recognize her authenticity, and fear from those still living, expecting a maternal figure, still looking for someone to take care of them rather than someone to love. She doesn't want to complete anyone or be completed. She wants to overflow alongside someone who has also found their own strength, regardless of age. The relationship she's capable of isn't hierarchical. It's complementary. She brings depth, he brings lightness. She offers wisdom gained through experience. He offers spontaneity, untainted by cynicism. She provides emotional sophistication. He provides vital energy. But this only works when both people show up as equals, when neither is trying to parent or be parented, when the connection is based on mutual respect rather than mutual need. She's learned that the best relationships aren't about two half-people becoming whole. They're about two whole people choosing to create something even more beautiful together. This woman isn't hiding. She's protecting herself. There's a vast difference between rejecting and preserving oneself. But the world doesn't easily accept a woman like this. A world that still preaches mature women should know their place. A world that distrusts those who dare to desire outside age norms. Carl Jung said that where convention rules, there's little room for authenticity. And this woman doesn't live by convention. She lives by essence. She hears phrases like, "You could be his mother, this won't work out, you're making a fool of yourself." And she smiles, a calm, steady, almost ironic smile, because she knows something her critics don't, that age is just a number when it comes to soul connection, that the heart doesn't check ID before it falls, that consciousness recognizes consciousness regardless of the body it inhabits. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for someone mature enough to love without possessing, to connect without judging, to respect without infantilizing. And let's be honest, that's not something you find on any street corner, regardless of age. The discomfort she causes isn't insecure men, threatened by her experience, feel intimidated. Women trapped in youth envy feel judged. But she isn't here to confront anyone. She's just being. And sometimes just being authentically yourself is the most revolutionary act possible. This woman isn't in a hurry. She doesn't need to rush things to please anyone. She respects her own pace, her own timing, her own process. And for that, she stirs a silent fury in a society that wants everything now. She wants depth while the world chases distractions. She wants presence while the world offers only superficial availability. She longs for soul connections while everyone else is trying to look interesting on the next Instagram story. And when she says, "No," it's not a game, it's truth. When she walks away, it's not drama, it's self-defense. When she chooses to stay home, instead of going out with someone empty, it's not arrogance, it's clarity. Here's the key. What truly attracts a younger man to a mature woman isn't her trying to be his mother, his mentor, or his savior. It's her being completely, authentically, irresistibly woman.
He doesn't want advice on how to live his life. He wants inspiration on how to live his own. He doesn't want to be protected from his choices. He wants a partner who trusts his ability to make his own decisions, who respects his journey, even when it's different from hers. The fatal mistake happens when she confuses experience with superiority, when she tries to improve him instead of simply being with him, when she forgets that her greatest gift isn't what she knows, but who she is. That is the journey of an awakened soul, giving up the need to control in exchange for deeper truth, authentic connection based on mutual respect and genuine attraction. Deep down, the world fears women like her, women who don't need, who don't bow, who refuse to be molded, because they challenge invisible structures. They question old patterns. They break silent emotional contracts that have kept women small for generations. The correct dynamic between a mature woman and a younger man isn't hierarchical, it's complementary. She offers emotional depth. He offers vital energy. She brings earned wisdom. He brings fresh spontaneity. She provides sophisticated sensuality. He provides unburdened passion. But this only works when she doesn't try to transform him into her improved version of who he should be, when she doesn't project her own insecurities about the age difference onto his choices, when she,
Carl Jung would say, she found wholeness, not by eliminating opposites, but by integrating them. And when a woman integrates experience with desire, wisdom with sensuality, maturity with spontaneity, strength with vulnerability, she becomes irresistible, regardless of age. This woman doesn't reject love. She simply learned not to submit to unbalanced relationships, where one must dim so the other can shine. She learned that love isn't about sacrifice, it's about celebration. She learned that those who only love the convenient parts haven't yet learned what love truly is. And those who demand constant sweetness still don't understand the beauty of complexity, the attraction of depth, the magnetism of a woman who contains multitudes. When she stops trying to save him or improve him, when she simply allows him to witness her own completeness, something magical happens. He wants nothing more than to be in that energy, to learn from her example, to grow alongside her rather than under her direction. She's too whole to settle for halves, too free to accept prisons disguised as care, too sensitive to endure superficial connections, and at the same time, strong enough to keep choosing this path even when the world questions her choices. What you see isn't coldness or arrogance or indifference. It's emotional maturity. And maturity is scary because it demands real presence, real depth, real courage to love without possessing, to care without controlling, to guide without dominating. She doesn't want just any company. She wants energetic reciprocity. She's no longer attracted to potential or promises, but to real presence, to someone who has also chosen to grow, to become, to evolve into their fullest expression. The woman who authentically attracts younger men isn't the one who tries to compete with women their age. It's the one who completely occupies her own space, her own essence, her own strength, without apology or explanation. She doesn't try to be younger, she celebrates being wiser. She doesn't hide her experience,
she transforms it into magnetism. She doesn't deny her age. She uses it as a source of power, depth, and unshakable self-knowledge. Because a younger man who feels attracted to a mature woman isn't looking for a second mother. He's looking for a woman who has completely embodied her femininity, without apologies, without diminishments, without shame about. And when she stops trying to save him or improve him, and when she simply allows him to witness her own completeness, when she loves him as he is, rather than as she thinks he could become, something magical happens. He wants nothing more than to be worthy of that kind of love. There's something sacred about the way she walks through the world. She doesn't need applause or public validation. Her confidence is quiet, deep, unshakable, and it's in that silence that her true strength lives. Carl Jung said that everything we face within eventually becomes our destiny. And perhaps that's why this woman, in choosing herself repeatedly, has become the author of a destiny that few can understand, but many secretly envy. She no longer tries to fill voids with promises or convince anyone that she deserves love. She doesn't beg for space in anyone's life because she learned that presence should never be begged for. It should be invited, celebrated, treasured. The love that comes after that won't be salvation. It will be celebration. It won't come to fill her. It will come to overflow. And when a younger man chooses a woman like this, he's not choosing a substitute mother. He's choosing a partner who inspires him to be his best version, and not through control, but through example. We are witnessing a new archetype of woman, a woman who walked away from the superficial and dove into the depths, who got tired of being merely desired and chose to be respected, who chose to love without diminishing herself, to give without depleting herself, to care without losing herself. And when a woman understands that, her whole world begins to change. She doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. Her presence speaks before any words. She doesn't need to chase anyone. Her energy draws the right people into her orbit. If something inside you was touched by this story, maybe it's because deep down, you too are ready for a new kind of love. A love that begins with reconciliation with yourself. A love that doesn't require you to be less so someone else can be more. A love that celebrates your complexity rather than trying to simplify you. This is your invitation to stop apologizing for who you are, to stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you, to stop mothering men who should be loving you as an equal. Your experience is not your burden, it's your gift. Your maturity is not your limitation, it's your power. Your age is not your expiration date, it's your liberation.
If this message found you at the right moment, or awakened someone you forgot was living inside you, then I invite you not to keep it to yourself. Share this video with other women who need to remember their own strength. Like it, comment, and subscribe to this channel, not out of impulse, but out of choice. Because when something touches the soul, the least we can do is let it keep resonating within us and through us. Tell me in the comments, what's one way you've caught yourself mothering instead of loving? What's one pattern you're ready to break? Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to hear to step into her own power.